Welcome to Airgas, an Air Liquide company located in Bozrah, Connecticut. This site follows the DOT site security rules. You must first buzz the control room to enter the property. All guests and contractors must then sign in and out of the logbook located inside the control room. All guests then will watch a contractor orientation video prior to work. No firearms or weapons are allowed on site at any time. Drugs and alcohol are not permitted on the property. Report all suspicious activity, and smoking is only permitted outside and adjacent to the control room entrance. Airgas has work safe rules that are located in the control room and conference room for contractor reference. Airgas also follows a hazard work permit program where we will write permits for job activities. These permits may also cover things like lockout, tagout, confined space entry, hot work, and other hazardous activities. The Bozrah plant maintains a safety data sheet book in the control room. This book is available for everyone to review upon request. Contractors must inform the plant manager of any chemicals to be brought on site prior to use. A safety data sheet must be included and shared with the plant manager. Under the Hazard Communication Program, there are three primary hazards at Bozrah: liquid oxygen, liquid nitrogen, and liquid argon. The liquid oxygen tank is a 500,000 gallon tank located at the back of the property near our loading docks. Liquid oxygen is an oxidizer that may cause or intensify fire. The liquid oxygen contains a refrigerated gas that may cause cryogenic burns or injury. Liquid can cause burns similar to frostbite when in contact with the skin. Combustibles in contact with liquid oxygen may explode or ignite. Avoid spills. Do not walk or roll equipment over spills of liquid oxygen. Avoid the vapor clouds that form when liquid oxygen expands into a gas, and seek medical attention immediately if you come in contact with liquid oxygen. This site also contains liquid nitrogen and argon. We have two tanks of liquid nitrogen, one 800,000 gallon, one 400,000 gallon tank, and we have a 15,000 gallon tank of argon. All are located at the back of the property near the loading docks. Liquid nitrogen and argon contain a refrigerant gas that may cause cryogenic burns or injury. When in contact with the skin, both may cause burns that are similar to frostbite. Liquid argon and liquid nitrogen are both asphyxiants and may displace oxygen and cause rapid suffocation. Do not walk through or stand in vapor clouds. Seek medical attention immediately if you come in contact with the cryogenic liquid. Emergency procedures for exposures to hazardous chemicals include referring to the safety data sheet for the specific chemical. All exposures should be reported to the control room. Emergency response personnel will be managed by the control room operators. In all cases of exposure, seek medical attention. For inhalation, remove the victim to fresh air and give artificial respiration if indicated. For skin and eye exposures, rinse with clean water for 15 minutes. Emergency eye wash and emergency showers are located throughout the facility. For ingestion and injection, refer to the safety data sheet for the specific chemical. The water in our water treatment room contains corrosive chemicals used to treat the cooling tower water. These chemicals may cause burns to the skin or eye damage if they come in contact with the eyes. They may also cause respiratory irritation if inhaled. Corrosive chemicals require adequate ventilation and the use of proper PPE when handling those chemicals. Airgas is committed to safety, and we do this through a variety of systems, one being the Hazard Work Permit System, where we identify hazards and mitigating activities. Additional safeties are engineering controls such as safety interlocks, alarms, and exhaust systems, administration controls, where we train people to do the job that they need to do, and operating procedures, and personal protective equipment such as safety glasses and safety gloves. Oxygen monitors detect oxygen deficient atmospheres. You must wear an oxygen monitor in designated areas as defined in your pre-job brief. If the monitor detects an oxygen deficient area, both a visual and audible alarm will sound. If your monitor alarms, evacuate the area immediately and report the problem to the plant manager or designee. Do not re-enter the hazardous area until permission is granted by the plant manager. Protecting our environment and the waterways is important. At Airgas, we store all outside chemicals in improved containers or secondary containment. All impacted stormwater drains must be adequately protected from spills or erosion during work activities. Any spills from any source must be cleaned up immediately to prevent contamination to land, water, or air, and must be reported immediately to the plant manager. Always have a current safety data sheet for each chemical on site. An on-site disposal of any material must be discussed with the plant manager or designee prior to the disposal. This site adheres to strict housekeeping rules. All trash must be properly disposed of. Drop cords and other trip hazards must be controlled and clearly marked. Drop cords should be run overhead when possible. Work areas must be kept clean during work, and all debris must be removed when the job is done. The site should look cleaner than when you first arrived. Do not block exits, electrical panels, or fire equipment. And keep emergency equipment clear for use, including emergency eye wash and showers. The hazard work permit will cover the necessary PPE or personal protective equipment required for each job. You are required to wear all necessary PPE properly and at all times while on Airgas property. Please see your Airgas representative for additional PPE, broken PPE, or questions regarding the PPE for your specific job. Airgas maintains a first aid kit and automatic external defibrillator, or AED, in the control room. Report all injuries to the control room operator and plant manager, no matter how small. The control room personnel will manage emergency response. If an emergency occurs, report the problem to the control room and seek medical attention for the victim immediately. If it is safe to do so, make sure the scene is safe. If an area is contaminated with blood, notify the control room for appropriate blood spill cleanup. This is the Bozrah Emergency Action Plan plot map. When you look at the facility, you can see the front gate is here. And when you enter the front gate, you tend to park in the front parking lot, entering into our offices where the control room is, and signing into the logbook. In the event of an emergency, the primary muster point is going to be the front gate. If the front gate is inaccessible, then you would go to the rear gate in the facility at the back by the loading docks. That is the secondary muster point for the emergency action plan. In the event of an emergency, you will hear a loud air horn, followed by emergency instructions over the intercom. If you do not hear the emergency instructions, please evacuate immediately to the primary muster point at the front gate, or, if that is unaccessible, the secondary muster point. Due to electrical hazards, no metal ladders should be in use. Prior to using your ladder, inspect it for damaged footings, broken rungs, or unreadable labels. To prevent injuries from falling objects, barricade the area or control foot traffic when overhead work is being done. All tools must be inspected before use and in good working condition. Tools must only be used for the purpose for which they were designed. There are many confined spaces throughout the plant. You must have a permit to enter these spaces and be authorized by the permit writer. You must also be trained in confined space entry by your employer. Follow all regulatory and air gas rules when working in confined spaces. Air gas lockout tagout requires all energized equipment to be de-energized and locked out prior to work being performed on the equipment. Orange locks are specific to equipment lockout, while red locks are specifically used to identify the person performing the work under a lockout. Red locks should display the user's name and are affixed to the red lock box after all equipment is locked out and the keys to the orange locks are stored in the box.